All right, let's try something new. I found this video, 10 questions Christians can't answer. This has apparently been up since 2010 and has 500,000 views, basically. And I found this video to be quite easy to answer all of these questions. I have them written down and I put the comment in the comment section. But let's look at this, what it says right at the beginning here. Due to the number and nature of the comments, I will no longer respond to them. So apparently he's getting plenty of answers to questions that Christians can't answer. So let's see this. This is kind of comical.
10 questions Christians can't answer.
Ooh,
Question number 1.
When Noah's Ark landed, how did the kangaroos make it back to Australia?
Okay. See how he gives this gotcha kind of look at the end? He'll do that on every question. And then at the end, he adds more just for comical value, I guess. It's kind of funny. But he asks, when Noah's Ark landed, how did the kangaroos make it back to Australia? The ocean level at that time was lower, and Australia was still able to be reached by foot. Look at the continental shelf. Look at all the ancient city ruins found on that shelf that are now underwater. The fundamental error of this question is your assumption that the ocean level has always been a constant. That was easy. Okay, question
number 2.
If the ark was covered in pitch or tar to make it watertight, it also made it airtight. How did the animals survive more than 1 or 2 days living in complete darkness without any fresh air? Remember, the rain lasted 40 days and 40 nights. Noah couldn't open the window in the top.
Noah couldn't open the window in the top. Okay, well, here's my typed answer. Oh, come on, really? This is question number 2? Do they get even more ridiculous from here? Noah's Ark wasn't a Tupperware container. I'm pretty sure even a Darwinist is smart enough to understand that you can open a window on the side of the Ark and not expect it to flood the Ark. The pitch was so it would float, that's all. Trying to twist that into being airtight all around to the point where they couldn't have breathed is really quite ridiculous. I hope these questions get more rational, and they do. They will get more rational, but they're still ridiculous. I just found this question to be the most ridiculous of them all.
Question number 3.
Since Adam and Eve didn't know right from wrong before eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, why did God then punish them for something they didn't understand they were doing?
That look is just hilarious. Why punish Adam and Eve for something they didn't understand? This is a less ridiculous question, but they understood. They were told not to do one thing. They did it anyway. Leave it to a Darwinist to think that should go unpunished. They understood. Not that I would really want to add politics to this, but it is the same concept here. I think Democrats think that Hillary should go unpunished. I think Democrats think that illegal immigrants should go unpunished. They know what they're doing wrong. They deserve their judgment. Adam and Eve are no different. They were told, don't do that. They did it anyways. Guilty.
Question number 4.
Why would God place a forbidden tree in the garden so close to his innocent creation and allow Satan to tempt them into eating from it, all the while looking on without doing a thing to prevent it?
Question.
Why would God create a Garden of Eden scenario? Because God's plan all along was to defeat Satan. He knew Satan would corrupt his creation. He knew Adam and Eve would fall. He knew it all because it was all part of the plan to begin with. The goal of the plan is to grow and harvest a crop of good angels, saved Christians. He never intended on a perpetual Garden of Eden.
Number 5.
When the women went to Jesus' empty tomb, was the stone already rolled away, or did an angel roll it away after the women got there?
I laugh because of the look that he gives after every question. Gotcha. No, not even close. When did the stone get rolled away? This one was actually a good question, and I appreciated this one. This question is asserting that there is a contradiction in Scripture. There is not. There is no verse that claims the stone was still in place when they arrived. The stone was rolled away when the earthquake happened. Then the women went to the grave. On the way to the grave, they asked who would roll away the stone, assuming it would, of course, still be in place. But when they arrived, they saw it was already rolled away.
Question number 6.
On the first day of the week, when Jesus rose from the dead, how many women went to the tomb, and which ones?
Question number.
Which women went to the tomb? Luke 24 verse 1 says, Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing in the spices with which they had prepared, and certain others with them. You have to go back into Luke 23. The very end of 23 talks about who is being talked about here, and it's basically talking about women in general. It doesn't count how many people there either. Mark 16:1. And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome, I'm not sure exactly how that's pronounced, had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And then Matthew 28:1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to draw toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. The roll call: Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of Jesus, and Salome, and certain others. That's all getting mentioned. We don't know how many women went in total, but it was at least 3 women. Mark mentions all 3 by name. Just because Matthew and Luke don't mention specific names, like Salome, doesn't make it a contradiction.
Verse 7.
If you believe the creation account in Genesis is mere allegory, then why don't you throw out Paul's epistles? Because he believed that the creation account was a historical fact.
Question.
This is actually a great point, and he's absolutely right. But I don't believe the creation story is allegory. I believe Darwinism and Saganism, which is the belief in billions of years, are provably fake science. I'm answering these questions. I want this guy to answer my 150 points in the Hovind Express videos that all prove creation. I don't think the guy's going to do it. So, to expand on this, if the creation story is allegory and myth, then yeah, he's absolutely right. We have a very good reason to reject the rest of the Bible too. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? I think I might have misquoted that, but you get the point. All right, just next question.
Number 8.
How many donkeys did Jesus ride in his triumphal entry into Jerusalem? Was it 1 donkey, like Mark, Luke, and John say, or was it 2 donkeys, like Matthew said?
Gotcha. How many donkeys? He rode 1. How would somebody ride 2 donkeys at the same time? It doesn't make sense. The second animal mentioned in Matthew isn't a contradiction. It's just an added detail that only Matthew mentions. It was probably used for carrying items, like clothing, that does get mentioned. That's what beasts of burden are commonly used for.
Question number 9.
Matthew and Luke both provide genealogies for Jesus, going all the way back to Adam. Using both of those lists, who was Joseph's father?
Who was Joseph's father? One of the genealogies traces Mary's lineage to her father, Heli. The other one traces Joseph's lineage and clearly states that his father's name was Jacob.
Question number 10.
Was Jesus crucified on the first day of Passover like the Gospel of John says, or the next day like the other three Gospels say?
Oh, the drama. Ooh, he got us. When was Jesus crucified? John does not say that Jesus was crucified on the first day of the Passover. The question is faulty. The Passover lamb was killed the day before. It was the preparation of the Passover. So this guy's question doesn't even make sense. John never says it was the first day of the Passover. Well, I answered the questions and I typed up all of this into a comment and left it on the comments underneath the video, which of course, let's look at this. There are 24,000 plus comments. So, here's my comment. Too bad the guy won't actually read this now because he's overwhelmed with all of these comments. He asks for questions to be answered, and then, he's going to reject every answer. So, oh well. Well, this was fun. I'm not that comfortable going off script like this, but this was sort of half scripted and half not scripted. So, enjoy, and God bless.